Well, welcome back. You're listening to the program Valiant Women, and with me here is Queen Jocelyn Cole. In Cameroon, like in most countries across the globe, violence against women and girls, most especially, is a preoccupying reality. But often, such violence are attributed to being caused by crises such as abrupt displacement, armed conflict, hardship. But when you examine it closely, you discover that gender-based violence in Cameroon has been existing even before the ongoing crisis and occurs in privacy or our homes. As a matter of fact, the most dangerous place where violence occurs for women is in privacy. Intimate partner violence prevails as one of the most widespread forms of violence against women and girls. Going by my research, 56.4% of women in Cameroon have suffered emotional and or sexual violence in their life. When someone comes to you with such case, or when you are faced with someone who has suffered such violence in her home, what message do you have for that person?
First of all, the person has to take responsibility, because when you are in a situation, you have to accept the fact that I allowed it to happen. Okay? Either by ignorance, I should have learned more. I should have known more than this. Second is, I will tell the person to take care of make sure you heal, because healing is a big part of it. And healing. You said 56%, but I think I would say 90%. We're all messed up. We have things, we have stuff we don't want to talk about. And as sad as it is, what we took from our childhood, we tend to want to duplicate it. I want to prove to myself that this man is going to be violent to me, and we're gonna push the situation to happen again. And then when it happens, we're like, yeah, you see, I'm a victim, poor me. So you have to come out of the victim mentality, and it's not easy, because I went through that. I went through a violent situation in my previous marriage, and I still remember the third time it happened, when the hand was on my neck. And I was thinking, I'm going to speak in French. Si je meurs ici, je vais dire que je sais quoi. So I was like, man, this is serious. So when my breath came back, I had to go through a certain, I healed myself first. This is why I'm helping people to heal today. And I discovered that I looked for the situation. I put myself into that situation. And if I did it, it means that I can come out of it. Because as long as you think you need somebody to come and take you out of it, you will stay in the situation. And I think people that are they're going through abuse or stuff like that, they don't know themselves. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they can do. And they actually put themselves into it because they were looking for approval. Oh, I cooked for you. Say that you like it. Oh, you're everything for me, baby. I can't do anything without you. And it becomes a relationship of
you're giving in, and then the person
you expect the person to react in a certain way. I gave you this, say thank you. And he's not thanking you because he didn't need it in the first place. He or she didn't need what you offered. And you needed the thank you and the approval in order to feel good. And when it's not happening, it turns into a sour situation. And I'm telling you, 99% of us, we went through it. And if you don't heal by first of all acknowledging that I put myself into this situation, I was seeking approval. I needed somebody to say they love me. I needed somebody to, my father didn't approve me. I grew up without my father. I saw my father once a month. So I need a man to make me feel good. And then when himself is stressed because I'm putting too much from him, he would turn and be like, because it's only going to go so far. There's going to be a point where the person will be tired of giving you the nice compliments, because he's not going to be happy 24/7. So you have to take responsibility of where you are. If you were abused, if you were whatever, you were beaten, man or woman, I could have said no. I couldn't, when it started the first time, I could have, left the house. I could say, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going. But I stayed because I was like, oh, I need to be a good wife. You know, what is my family gonna say? And man, if you die, what is your family gonna say?
You know, so many people, they keep saying that to themselves because they feel like they can solve the problem.
Yes.
They think they are the solution.
No, you can't fix people. When I realized that I need to be whole, and before I attract somebody that is whole, even with my husband, I tell him all the time, you know, just go and be you, and be me, because these are things that when you say, people like, that's for white people. No, it's because we all have a heart, we have emotions. When I tell you, you look nice, it's a good feeling. So when you don't feel good, whatever, it's not a question of white or black people. Get yourself in a position where you will open yourself. Look, here I'm hurt. I took this from my childhood. My brother used to, you know that even children, they beat each other. You know, you can have a brother that will spend his time beating his sister, and she'll get used to being abused. So sometimes we ignore that one, and you know, you will see a 30-year-old woman, she's used to being, you know, molested, bad words, and that's how it goes on. So she has to be honest with herself. I'm used to this, I need to change. And it starts with a decision. When you decide, I didn't say it's going to be easy, because it's going to try and fail a lot. But the most important is that you keep trying. And today online we have a lot. YouTube is full of a lot of things. Even on the radio, we have programs like this one. You can listen and you just do your self-analysis, because I'm sorry, but black people, they don't like to do introspection.
And I want to get to that. Bibiana, we are just joined here by Bibiana Shinita. She's a journalist here at Dash Media. Bibiana, do you think that the African culture, or let me not say African culture, do you think that culture has made it in such a way that so many people endure violence?
I think that, by the way, I'm glad to be here again, Billy Holton phone. So I have the impression that by the time you start talking about African culture, I understand where you're going to, because with this community, African culture, we tend to have a certain perspective, which is a little different from other cultures, I would say. And cultures actually aid in that. First of all, we have the idea of always believing that, okay, he's a man, so he should do it, he can do that, he is above. And then our culture, this is the worst part, which I think that I've kind of experienced. I have heard so many people talk about it. The fact that women feel that if they are out of marriage, then they have failed. That is it. That's the culture we live in as Africans. It looks like if you are able to get out of that marriage, it means that you have failed. And that is exactly what keeps those women there, to the point where some may even die. Because we've heard of situations where they end up losing their life at the end of the day. So this culture, with our culture, it's a little difficult to get divorced. By the time you say that this lady is divorced, like, are you sure that she's an easygoing person? By the time she's divorced, it means that maybe there's something not very right
she
with
has
her.
a bad character.
Yes. And unfortunately, that is not the case, not always the case. It could be the man as well as it could be the woman. I have seen situations where the women just had to back out to be able to stay alive and even keep their dignity and self-esteem. So I think culture has a role to play somehow. My queen, I think we're in the same line.
You said something about death. You know, dying is not just physical death. There's a lot of women out there, they're just living, they're just surviving. They're like zombies, you know. You lay down next to somebody, you don't love the person, you don't know nothing is making you happy.
Can you imagine the torture?
Yes. And they have a reason, I'm here for my children. You know, that thing, what are people going to say? And, you know, you're like the punching ball, the emotional punching ball of the person. Because when they go out, things are not going right. They will come and they'll pour it. Sometimes they wake up and you're like, I haven't done anything. I didn't even say hello to you. Why are you just at me? Because I need you to feel bad for me to feel good. That's violence. That's violence. You know, it's not just about beating the person, but even with words. And women, I think the fact as well that sometimes we protect ourselves too much. We've been hurt by other women. Sometimes we call the jealous. Jealousy is among women. So we tend to isolate ourselves and we don't talk to each other. If women could develop that love, that love that I can have a situation, I speak to this woman and she empowers me. She will not come and put me down or laugh at me tomorrow, but she'll be like, come on, you can do this. Come on, you remember when you were in high school? You remember you used to be so nice. Come, look at what this man or this woman has done to you. Get a grip of yourself, get up, do things. And we need people like that in our lives that will make us remember who we are. And that's what's lacking today.
I came up with this question about culture because I had, when I was doing my thesis, I visited this village in the East region, Simangolo. It's a refugee camp in the East region. And there, what I saw, let me say the horror I saw. Like every time when I think about it, I have this horrific feeling in me. So I saw a little girl. She was lying on the bed, and just behind her, I can't believe that was a baby. That was a baby. And I let her baby, and I let that was her second baby. Whoa. And that little girl, she is sick. Now going up to the next house, we visited the next hut. We saw another person. She was pregnant and she was feeling very sick. Wow. So what did we learn there? That she was sent out of her husband's house. She was still very young, very, very young, like 14 years.
Wow.
14 years. So she was sent out of her husband's house, and then the family, they are kind of negotiating on how to bring her back to the house and all those kind of things. God. You see, it's like the culture. Our culture is like encouraging these things to happen. So in this situation, do you think that male violence against the opposite sex is only a question of power? Can we attribute it to power? Like they want to show their supremacy?
First of all, I want us to go back on the feeling of the person in this situation. You grew up, I think education is so important. You grew up in a family, they feed you, you stay in their house. Their parents, everything you need, they provide. And at some point, they take you and they go and sell you. They sell you, or I don't know. They just give you to somebody, and you don't have, you're not even aware that you're suffering. Because even some people in their parents' home, they are in prison already because they cannot even study what they want. Some can't even go to school at a certain point. On paper, what are we going to do? You have to stop school because you're going to get married. It's going to give us a little bit of money. So now they give you to somebody else, and you go to that person's house. It's like a prison, but with no, closed doors, and you're just there. Mentally, you're down, and that person will come, and it's like that person is taking his authority from you, from your weakness. I'll still say ignorance, because once you start knowing, oh, I can actually do this by myself. I can do this. That's why widows. I don't take widows as I don't feel pity for them. Okay, he died, but if you change your mindset, maybe you're going to discover another part of you that is strong, that can work, that can fry maybe, dumplings and sell it to people. You discover that there was something inside of you. So I think a lot of us, we don't know who we are. And I think laziness. For me, I encourage women to work a lot. Don't be lazy. Right. Don't just sit around, because a lot of women end up in that situation because I want a man to take care of me. He has a house, this is what you say in your mind in order to get into that relationship. You see the red flags, you'll be like, no, it's okay. Yeah, I will endure.
To stay in the relationship.
He will say, oh, no, you're going to continue school. 1 year later, no, just have the kids first. And that's how you didn't finish your education. So if you're looking for a job, you can't find a proper job because there's no skills. And that's how discouragement. When you stay at home for 12 months, 2 years, after 5 years, you're mentally down.
Yes, and you get used to the situation.
You get used to it. And sometimes some of them are very young. So I would not say, I would really, if somebody's listening to this, get up first of all from your mind. In the Bible, when Jesus is talking, he will see somebody laying down. He said, get up and walk. He will not come and hold his hand.
Yeah.
He will say, get up and walk. Even the man that they opened the roof, they put him down. He said, get up. So we have to understand that at a certain point, it has to come from the inside of you. So, and I'm so sure we can do more than we think. Yeah.
So at this level, Bibiana, you are an expert in communication. Do you think that communication is a way out of gender-based violence?
I think so. For instance, what she's doing already is a part of communication which can go a long way. And now, I feel that in a home, to begin with, if you're not able to tell the other person that this thing you just did, I don't feel okay with it, and you insist on your feelings towards issues, you do not just let go because, well, maybe it was a mistake. Don't assume. Try to find out. Use your words. You're not mute. Use your words however you use them, and then tell that person, I am not okay with what just happened. Like that, it may not happen again. But I think that by the time we just sit back and relax, then it will happen again. By the time there's something, for instance, in my home, I do not allow children as much as push another person's head, because I reject violence in every form. Why? Because I have the impression that by the time you're able to push this one's head now, it means the next moment you can push it a little harder. Like even with their games when they play, children have funny kind of games, or some you may want to hit their hand, and they put your hand and you're trying to hit it and miss. I don't accept such games, because I feel like everything that it puts in some pressure, some violence, some pain, you cultivate it, and after some time it gets normal. And it's just like we're talking about communication. You keep getting this thrown back at you and you're not saying anything about it. The person might not even know from the onset that this thing is troubling you, and at that time you're emotionally abused day in and out because you've not mentioned it. Maybe that's someone who could have respected you, but because you've not as much as mentioned what is happening, what you don't like about the person's behavior, then voila, it keeps on, and then it grows and becomes bigger by the day, and who knows how tomorrow gets.
No, Queen Jocelyn, there are some people who are so stubborn, like they click on their own belief and on what they think. You are a psychologist. How do you tell this person that no, follow this way, do this?
When Bibiana was talking, she talked about communication. When you've been in a relationship with somebody for 10 years, 15 years, the person is used to certain things. So listening to us, they're talking, and like, I think I'm gonna do this tonight. Maybe you're gonna spend 2 days in the living room. I don't know. I really want us to be honest with this. It requires a lot of work. So if somebody's listening to this, the first thing, don't, because we tend to accuse, it's because of you. Just turn towards yourself. What can I do? Sit down, do a lot of take notes. Even writing your own feelings, your own thoughts. Like get a 200-page
diary. Just
write down. Wake up in the morning, maybe for 20 minutes, sit down. Okay, this happened, because before started talking to the other person, I think you should talk to yourself first. And sometimes our own conversation, our inner conversation is so messed up that we don't even realize. And you sit down, write. Today, this is how I feel. Why am I feeling so bad? This is just a conversation like, because yesterday he did this. He didn't even ask my permission. He just came home and he did this. How could you have done that to me? Okay, you just talk, because sometimes we don't have that friend that will listen to us. And sometimes when you talk, at the end you feel better. The anger that was that triggered you in the beginning, and you wanted to say something or do something, it's like it faded away. And I think the solution is inside of us, but we tend to go and point the finger at the other person. We have a lot of inner work to do. Sit down with yourself. If you can, pay for somebody to listen to you. I'm telling you, the first day you will do that, first of all, the thing it will do, it's like you're feeding yourself what? Actually, I can take 50,000 I give to somebody. She sits down for half an hour, for 1 hour, and she listens to me, only me, with no interest, because women and men, the game we play is that, okay, if he listens to me, he buy me this and that, at the end he expects something from me. And we are used to be in that game in relationships. Or if he's listening to me, it means that I need to give him back something. So when you start doing that, you separate yourself from emotional blackmail. Because we are used to being blackmailed. We like it. because I have to run after him, cook for him, beg him, or for him to feel good, and then he'll make me feel good. You stop that game. You detach yourself from it. Be with yourself. Second, learn to be happy on your own. That's very difficult. You will discover that I was waiting for a lot of things. Oh, he gave me this thing. Oh, I like him. I'm so happy. Oh, this is not working. Oh. You start being sad. So you learn how to be happy. Wake up in the morning after you write down your emotions. What's going to make me happy today? I want ice cream. Ice cream from that place. Do what you have to do during the day. Go and get that ice cream. Sit down for 10 minutes. Enjoy yourself. Maybe it's a massage. Go and get that massage. You can save money for 1 month to go and get your massage, and you feel good about yourself. I didn't pay for I didn't have to wait for that good feeling coming from somebody. You're feeling your own emotional bank. And when you're full, you will stop accepting things from people. Because when they want to come and put their trash on you, you'll be like, I'm full, I can't take it. And that one is not with, you're not going to struggle. You're going to walk away from that relationship easily. Be like, oh shit, I haven't called him in 2 days. I haven't called him in 3 days. I blocked him. No. You unblock him and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then after that, you're like, no, I don't want you anymore. Emotional stability. And you have to build it yourself. Go in the mirror, in front of the mirror walk. I do it myself. 2 days ago, I was live on my channel. I was doing my mirror walk. I go in front of the mirror, I put myself there, and I speak to myself. The words that you expect from other people, speak it to yourself, man or woman. Speak it to yourself. Speak it to yourself. So when you go during the day, oh, he didn't notice that I have a new wig. You already said your wig is nice to yourself. You already said, oh, I have nice teeth. I'm beautiful. I love my this and that. So you will see that you will heal first of all. And when you heal, there's nothing to hurt, because it's our pain, the pain you feel, that makes you to react. Yeah. And when you react, it hurts the other person, and they want to hurt you back. And that's how and then somebody, end up beating the other person. So, yeah. So
now, when we were talking about someone going to pay for someone to listen and everything, and I was thinking, we are in this kind of society where if you want to look at the average salary of an average person, that person to say, let me remove 10,000 francs or even 30,000 francs to go and pay for someone to listen to me.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Should I pay for someone to listen?
Those people have been in relationships where, because you love the person, your salary is 50,000, you will take 45,000, you go and give it to the guy. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And at the end you'll be like, for 1 year I gave 45,000 to this guy. How was I surviving? Girl, invest in you now. You will survive. So it's emotions, because you want the guy to, oh baby, merci, you cook this for me, oh thank you. You took your own money to cook for him. I'm a woman, I've done that. And when I sat down, I realized that I was doing these things. I realized, you know what, okay, let me just put it on me. Maybe start by the half of it, and that's it. You will not die. Yeah.
Now, do you think that health institution in Cameroon recognize that gender-based violence is an illness or is a problem that needs to be tackled?
Even in countries that recognize it, people still have to do their own work. So I really believe in personal work. I believe everyone should do their own work. Me, when I started coming out of the pit I was in, it started in 2017. I was broke, I was busted, coming out of abusive relationship. I realized that I was in France. I realized that it's not the society, because I called the people that allegedly they were supposed to help me. They didn't help. And I was like, come on. They said if you need help, come. So I went there, even the society. So the system does not mean that they would do what they say. So for me, heal yourself. Take care of yourself. Yes.
So now when you get to a psychologist,
yes,
what's the role of a psychologist?
I work a lot with energy. And I think people, they have this fear of, oh, it's a psychologist. Oh, no, don't be scared. It's not. You're going to be surprised. Even in the US, there are still people, even today, they're afraid of going there. So it's not a matter of this is Africa, over there is And I have people here, they pay a lot of money to come and talk, just to talk. So it's about mentality. And with the YouTube, all the social media today, I think there's no barriers anymore, because you can stay here, you see something that's happening in Washington. As long as you're aware of it, for me, you are raising your vibration to be at the same level. So you don't see yourself as somebody, I'm in Douala, my case is different, I'm poor, I'm this. No, raise yourself, and then you will see that you go and get your healing from where you need it. And sometimes you can even find a friend. I remember I used to have this situation. One day somebody said to me, if you're in a bad situation, you need advice. Stop a motor driver, stop one of them. Pay him, 1,000 or 2,000. Pay his beer, he sit down with you. Tell him your problem. I did that once.
What a strategy.
I'm telling you. And I was like, it's cheap anyway. So the guy listened, and at the end, the wisdom he gave me was so helpful for me, because he told me things that I would see but I couldn't accept. But coming from somebody who doesn't know me, he doesn't have any interest. He wouldn't lie to me. So he helped me to understand that I need to face my own life. Yeah.
So Bibiana, have you ever been in that situation where you had to self-talk yourself?
I don't know, but I get to talk to myself almost every day. But sometimes I'm like, Vivian, are you serious? Are you for real? Because I find myself really talking. But I don't know if it's in the same kind of scenario where, I'm just talking because I just have things going on in my mind, like even my activities, just my daily routine. I could be cooking up how my day is going to look like, and I do it by talking, and then I could be arranging something to say, or maybe even a newscast to do, and I find myself doing it all loud. I'm talking to myself and all. So the talking to myself thing I used to think it's with every other person.
You do that one time.
You don't say.
And she was laughing alone.
And according to me, I thought it was in secret.
It's beautiful, because when you do well, you'll be like, wow, that's nice. Sometimes I'm like, Jocelyn, you're doing nice today. And like, oh God, stop it.
You don't say.
But
you talk with yourself.
We like to talk a lot. Women like to talk.
Yeah, we do.
So you see, I'm enjoying this conversation. We like to talk. So if you get used to doing the positive talk, that's good.
All right, Bibiana, you came when we started already, and she mentioned the fact that we as ladies, we should help ourselves. We should talk to each other, because ladies, maybe you think that this other person is jealous of you, and you just decide to hide your situation from that person. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to bring a helping hand to a friend who has been in a violent situation?
I think it's not only once. I have had to be in situations where a couple of ladies have talked to me about some things, and then first thing is we have a hard time bringing up such topics. When it comes to violence, the man whom you're supposed to see as my husband is not treating me right, women seem not to be okay talking about it. So for a woman to bring herself to saying that, first of all, I tend to respect her, and then I respect her feelings, because for her to get to that level where she has to talk to me, I need to understand it as huge. So I've talked to a couple of women who have been in pain, and they've been holding it back, and when I'm like, God, you're doing so well, everything is okay with you, I'm happy for you, and it's just like, not exactly. This is it, this is this, and I am like, you don't say, not this person. She said, this is what I'm going through, and I cannot just talk about it, because first of all, they might not even believe me, and even if they do, what next? It's not as though my parents will be comfortable with me leaving that person, and then the usual thing, what about my children? Because whenever it gets to a point, I sometimes I used to feel like maybe I'm not the right person to talk to, because I tend to judge a situation the way I perceive it. Once you told me that it's been recurring, this person has been doing this, I'm like, then put an end. I don't know if it feels
just
like
leave.
And a lot of people do not like to listen to the truth.
That's it.
I just feel like maybe you think I give up easily, but I don't think that you should be in a relationship if you're not respected and you feel worthy of it. So if you're not getting it, then out. Don't stay there.
There are two options. When you start working on yourself, either the other person involved will rise as well,
Okay.
or they would go. But Me, I'm selfish. I'm sorry, but I'm selfish. Because if I die today, tomorrow you will still live. You not die with me.
It's for fun.
When I realized that, I was like, so when I'm going to die, the world will carry on. Yes. So that's an excuse for me to take care of my mental health, my emotional health. And I think a lot of women, they're, girl, that when you die, even when they're burying you, another woman will be cooking for the, or another man will be with your wife, and you're dead now. So for me, make sure that, and most of the time when we end up in that situation, we wanted to please other people. So you detach yourself, first of all, from trying to please people. Stop feeding your emotions from that. And when you start feeding your own self, you will start being independent. Like, I'm happy. You wake up and be like, you're happy today. You'll be surprised. Yeah, I learned how to be happy on my own. So I think it's and you said something, when you know, sometimes people put the facade and they just pretend everything is going well. And it requires a lot of courage to open up to somebody. Please, if your friend or somebody opens to you, don't use it against them.
Yes.
That's it.
Please. And if you're in a good situation, you know, don't come and brag, because the day is not going to go well. You'll be like, oh, I was bragging before them yesterday. How can I come and tell them it's not working today? And, you know, so just put a balance. Because sometimes women can sit down, I'm married, you know. And tomorrow when it's not going well, you're afraid to come and tell your friend, you know what I'm going through with him. And sometimes you just need the right people talking to you in order to just fix your marriage, not just break up and everything, but just fix your behavior. And then maybe you go and talk to him. Maybe you were not talking. Some women, they grew up not knowing how to talk. They will just put things inside, just put it. And the man is like, talk to me. She's not talking. And then he gets upset. So when you learn how to open up and just say how you feel, I had to learn it. It was very difficult for me to learn how to say how I feel.
So in as much as we like to talk, sometimes we don't know how to talk.
And sometimes we talk a lot. We don't say what's important.
We don't say what's necessary.
Oh, come on. We've been talking for 2 hours. We didn't go to we didn't touch.
Maybe you're even trying to escape those things that you know that if you get in there, the truth are going to come
You're
out.
right. There are times when I could be talking and I have the impression that maybe if I just hit it hard, it might be perceived wrongly.
No, me, I like to go straight to the point. What do you want? Okay, this is what's going on, and that's it. You see that you will get used to the fact that you're not going around, you're not beating around the bush. You just go straight to the point, and you open as well. You stop lying, because a lot of those people lie as well. A lot. Women lie to their husbands.
Yeah, even some who try to cover up their husbands or cover up the person who violated them.
Yes.
They try to cover it, or maybe it's a brother, maybe it's a father. They just do everything to cover the person.
It's like something we're going to invite the Queen on another day. Cover-ups, because I've noticed that most women like to cover up their partners in relationship. They don't want the family, especially her family, to know exactly maybe
and
how
still on this
husband
issue,
is.
if you leave your husband, they say you have failed.
Sure.
So
of course.
now we are almost running up with the program. But now, what should the society do? We've talked about ourselves. We've talked about what we should do as ladies to help each other. But now, the society, because it's part of the cause. What should the society do?
Your problems start when you want people to do things. You want to change people. That's where your problem will begin. You cannot change people. You cannot. Personally, what with my clients, with my friends, whoever, change and be the change. You don't know who is watching you, but your behavior, the fact that you started opening up and just talking, it will make your marriage to be so sweet that somebody will look and be like, I want to be like her. You didn't tell her to change. She started changing. So be the change, truly.
You want to see in others.
And you'll be so busy doing that, you don't have the time to tell people, do this or do that or change like this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking about the psychological impact of gender-based violence. And as we heard, the gender-based violence, it comes in different forms. It could be verbally, it could be sexually, it could be physically. It comes in so many forms.
It could also come from the woman to the man.
Yeah, it can also come from the woman to the man. Because most of the time we talk about the violence against women, we forget that women too, they do violence against
the rod of the woman is in the mouth.
So the family violence, where the woman is the one being the violent person in the house. But most of the time, let's bear the truth is that generally speaking, the women are the more victims. Yeah, women and young girls, they are the highest victims. So now the advice we're giving to women is take responsibilities. Stop covering yourself up. Talk to yourself, as she rightly said. Maybe you write it down, your emotions. We have seen that work. I myself personally have seen that work. I even watched a movie where that work, where a woman went and then she was explaining the problem that my husband is this, my husband is that, he's this, he's that. And that woman asked her, take a book, write down all those things you know that your husband is doing to you, write them down. So she wrote everything down and listed everything, and then that woman was like, okay, in each of those things that you've listed, what are the solutions that you've brought in, like to solve? Where have you helped your husband? And then she didn't know what to say, because at that point you discover that you yourself were the problem, but you have been blaming the other person. So women too, they do violence. Yeah. But yeah, we are talking about most of the time women are being the one in the shoe of the victim. So we ask women to learn how to be happy on their own. Detach yourself from those things that you're trying to be the one to please the other person and all those stuff. Detach yourself from that. Now the psychological impact of that, she talked about it, the repercussion that it has on your children. You might be doing something today, and then at the end of the day you don't even know that you've done this, but it falls on your children. It falls on your children. So your last word, Queen Jocelyn.
You know what? Just believe that things can be better tomorrow. And it starts by your own decision. So decide. I'm not here. My life will count. Because you're not just here to be the husband of one person and just focus on this. And I believe we're all called to heal from our emotions, our failures, and inspire other people. Because when you heal, you're able to heal other people. Yeah.
Bibiana Shinita, your last word.
My last word, I would like to say that women should, like you said, be open, try to talk, don't keep it all in. Even if it's not another person you're talking to, like I have learned already, you can talk to yourself. You stand in front of a mirror and talk. But generally speaking, we should learn to talk. Don't always keep it in, and don't always insist on covering up for your partner. At some point, you may need to let it open so that you can get solutions and not maybe stay there in silence and then die.
Thank you very much, Bibiana Shinita. Thank you very much, Queen Jocelyn. Thank you for honoring my invitation today and being on the platform Valiant Women. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking about the psychological impact of gender-based violence. Thank you for being with us for the 1 hour. Thank you very much. And we keep the rendezvous for next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, I missed.
How was the program?
It was okay, but it was.
Thank you very much.
I was getting with the earpiece I was using on air. I was getting you guys.
Listening to us.
Yeah. So when the reports are going on, I'm listening. She was talking about the talking, and the children, and so I was concentrating and trying. So sometimes when they're doing the countdown, I was really trying. I was a little longer.
Please. I actually took your number from Bibiana yesterday to call you, but she told me you were not in.
I wasn't. Yeah.
So now that you're here, I'd like to use the opportunity to ask you the questions.